Hi everyone, it's Quilting Nerd, and I'm sorry for my voice. I have a slight cold and it sounds as it sounds. I hope the coughing will not ruin the recording. Today I wanted to address a requests I got from you lately. It was about basic shapes and what kind of strategy you can use to improve your free motion quilting, especially if you are a beginner. So this video is mostly for beginners, or in general sense for people that may have problems with feathers. Feathers are one of the most classical designs, but with good reason they may cause problems for new quilters, and they can seem intimidating. That's why I came up with a few exercises that may help you keep those feathers nice and organic and flowing. And surprisingly, we will not start with feather design at all. I marked me here 2 lines. It is good if you will mark your lines on your practice sandwich one way or the other. I just used ruler and my ruler foot. You can also draw them, it doesn't matter. The spacing here, it's about 1 inch. It can be bigger, simply choose one that you are comfortable with. And we will start, as a first exercise, we will start with loops. They don't have to be round. We just want to have loops that cross very nicely here. And we don't want them to overlap for now. We just want them to cross actually at our line, at our bottom line. And we want it to be nice and symmetrical. And this is a really nice exercise for practicing feathers. And I will tell you in a moment why. So as you quilt those loops and you want the lines to cross here at the base, let me take my, if we want the lines to cross here exactly at the base line, so let me readjust it and zoom a little bit more. Now it's a bit too close. Yeah, so now that's the best zoom I can get with my camera. You see, I am trying to cross my lines of my loop here at the bottom, and because of that I have to start paying attention how I go down and that I cross here. If you manage that within few rows, you will manage already the most difficult part of any feather, which means this nice V point that we have in feathers that are so critical for the feather design. So one of the first steps to learn how to quilt feathers is to learn how to quilt loops that are nice and straight, looking like balloons attached to a post, and paying attention that those 2 lines are crossing here. So as your first exercise on your path to quilt nice looking feathers, make first few rows of such loops. Let me readjust the camera and let's keep going. So the loops can be first quite slim. It doesn't really matter in the first exercises, but focus on that they are looking similar, that they are round, and that this crossing point is happening exactly at the baseline. Not below, not somewhere far away, at the baseline. And we can go back. So again, I'm using my ruler to draw me second line. now we will do similar exercise, but we will make the loops nice and puffy. And why we do that? Because now we are actually decreasing this angle. See, I'm not used to making such loops. It's almost like heart shape. If you want to practice that way, we can include that to our exercise series in a moment. So they are very broad loops. And now if you, again, if I will zoom in on my shapes, as you see, this angle here, it's much sharper than the one above. And that's what we want to have in our feathers. Actually, this is already very good. This one is better. It makes this, we are practicing here going out of our stem and then going back to it. So if you can quilt such shapes, you can quilt feathers. Let's go back to our exercise. I always have to adjust the camera manually. So let's do one more. So repeat this kind of exercise in several lines till you're happy with the smoothness of the line and consistency of this V shape. So now in the third exercise, we will start the same way, only now we will try to quilt nice thick heart, which in itself it's a very nice design, which one can use into any sashing. So this exercise is very useful, but it's optional. But it gives you another one design for your collection, so you may want to practice it anyway, because you can make it some echoes here, so it's kind of a bonus. So we are just adding this extra element here in comparison, and it's just for the fun of it. So now that we have that, that would be the step number 3. Step number 4 concentrates just on the steep angle. Nice feather means we do not have real straight line. We have an arch, but very gentle arch, expanding from one side to the next. For now we are doing that without turning, so we are trying to create this nice gentle arch here. We travel a little bit back, and now what I will try to do, I will try to arch and hit my bottom line as close to here as possible. Repeat it once more. Try not to look at the needle, only there where you are going. So you can see my angle, it's getting smaller and smaller. and I'm trying to hit this beginning point as close as possible. And we can fit, I think, one more. That's already getting very long, getting more difficult to control. And then here we go, and we can repeat it a bit once more time. I have to just travel, and let's repeat it again. I'm just trying to hit the same point. These are exercises for your muscle memory. It's not to create perfect practice sandwich. It's for you to assess your progress. It's nothing to show, nothing to use for later. This is pure exercise. By the way, I shouldn't have stopped it. So it is all about right now here. It is all about, again, let me focus. That's why I'm using such strong thread, so we can see it. And it's all about having this very strong angle as we drive back in here. And this is the most difficult element in feathers, which make feathers look so nice and organic. Now let's try to put those two together. So I'm just showing you these exercises in the short form, but you cannot expect that doing it on such short swatch will be sufficient. So please just play with it. Loops are the most basic shapes. We are all drawing them when we try new pen or new marker. This is the most basic shape to try when we have a new pencil. And all of you can know how to draw a loop. And if you can draw a loop, you can quilt it. I totally agree with that. Now let's combine that. So let's combine this shape we practiced just before with half of the loop. So let's go way up here and let's quilt half of the heart here. Then let's go back a little bit and let's quilt half of the heart here and try to hit as close here as possible. And that's a perfect feather plum. And let's repeat that. Let's drive, maybe not from the same spot, but a little bit farther away. Let's quilt half a loop, turning here, going back, and try to hit it as close as possible at this sharp angle. Let's go back half of the loop, and like that we are practicing how a feather plum should look like, because there is a difference if you go back like this or go out like that. Usually it's less problem with going out. This one is very skinny. And usually what happens and what causes the trouble, it's this. Or even worse, this. So we have different, completely different shape and design. We want to have this very nice and pointy V that we have. here and not this one here. This one is not good to look for the feathers. We want this nice and sharp points that we have here. So we can now, let me readjust the camera again. Lots of dancing today. I hope I'm not giving you vertigo. And what we can do is, I will go back here. Additional advantage of exercising it this way is that you can compare how are you at the end with this, how you were at the beginning. And this is the only kind of comparison you should do when you want to learn quilting. Don't compare to me, don't compare to your friends, don't compare to pictures you see on Instagram or Pinterest, because those women are insanely good. I can find people that, I'm finding a lot of people that are so much better than me, and I'm like, I will be never as good. So if that happens to me, where I hear from you so many wonderful compliments and such generous feedback, then for a new quilter it can be overwhelming. So stop doing that, because you will never progress. So now let's do that from the other side, because these are the exercises we should do in both directions. Also the loops and the lines. You see, the sharper the angle, the more plumb, the nicer my feather looks like. And this part of shape, it is really all this, the exercise which we did here in this part. So it was the part number 4. Once you are happy with how your petals, how your plums look like, then we can start filling some other shapes. And for example, what you can do is to take a marker, like it's the one that is water soluble, and you can draw a shape, spindle shape, or an oval, or a leaf shape. Just mark it, and you can, I always like to start at the bottom. And I will start with quilting a gentle wavy line that goes to the top, and right now I'm just looking at the top of my where I want to go. I was not looking at my needle at all, and there you can see I met it perfectly. And I will travel back doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, you are a beginner, you have full right to make mistakes. And now the only challenge is that my bottom line changes the distance, but I am starting the same way. Half loops and hearts. This kind of feather is called bounced back feather, and I can go on both sides simultaneously, so switching sides. And Then I'm just trying to hit more or less there where the marking is. I can go above or a little bit below, doesn't matter. What's important is that I'm hitting the spine at the sharp angle. I have some other videos about practicing feathers from a little bit different side, different perspective. I will put the link in the description box below. So it's the same, like filling the row is just that my petals have to adjust the length. Now comes a little bit tricky part. I always had a problem how to finish the feather, and I can just use this and just extend it and go back. I just draw a loop, and it doesn't matter that I went beyond my marked area. My marked area is just to give me an overall shape there. It's a guideline, not a must. So I'm just quilting a loop. I can go outside or inside, and then I am just repeating the shape, quilting those half loops, and paying attention that I go at steep angle into the spine. Don't rush. And the last one. And here you go. It looks pretty nice. It's a very nice leaf-like shape. And you noticed it has exactly the same elements. You can, so in this way, you can take this shape apart by using those basic shapes. And I promise you, if you will follow with the exercise number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then reverse them, so you feel comfortable quilting them both up and down, you will get much faster into quilting feathers with good results. And for the end, let's have fun now without marking once more. For that I just used some leftover from backing. It was solid blue fabric and it's perfect for that. So for just Improv feather, I would just finish this here with a small loop. And everything what you have to concentrate on is coming back into the spine at this nice angle and quilting those steep loops and half hearts. Next video will be about embellishing feathers. Quilting, pre-motion quilting is nothing else. And right now I'm just trying to hit this one before, and it worked pretty good. I didn't manage here, so I'm just traveling back and forth to hide the small mistake. Pre-motion quilting is about using the most basic shapes really and putting them together. Once you start looking at all those complex patterns that way, you notice it's not about really the complexity of the pattern. It is about the sequence and developing a certain rhythm in putting together very simple shapes. Of course, navigating such turn here, such concave shape, it takes a little bit of practice, but there are also rules for that and ways how to do that. So everything can be learned if you just stop for a moment and try to understand why it is done this way, not the other. And with this nice feather, we conclude our half an hour free lesson on free motion quilting. I hope you like it. I hope it will help you to overcome your fears and uncertainties and try again at quilting feathers, for example. And the same kind of things can be done for swirls or straight lines. So let me think about some other way of taking apart, for example, swirls, how to practice them. But that's for one of the next videos. I wish you a wonderful day and hopefully see you soon. Here is your quilting nerd. Bye!